Hello, hello. How is everybody this evening? Welcome, welcome. It's been a little while since we've been on. I reckon it's been too long. I think it's been what, 2 weeks? I guess this technically makes the third week since we've been on. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been a little minute, but we are back and we are ready to rock and roll. Guys, don't forget when you get on this evening, drop me a hello. Let me know where you're from. Let's see how many people get on this evening after being gone for 2 weeks. We shall see. Guys, it is my favorite time of year, okay? Absolute favorite time of year, no doubt. So, post-spawn crappie fishing is my absolute favorite way to catch them, without a shadow of a doubt. Favorite way to catch them, post-spawn. We're going to get into why it's my favorite way to catch them here tonight. And we're going to go over some of the new, I guess if you saw the video this week, you know we have a new transducer mount. We'll talk about that a little bit. I'm sure you guys probably have questions for those that saw the video. I've had several questions on the video, so we'll talk about that a little bit too. And then we've got new products to go over. Crappie Cove got some new products in. We're going to go over those. Just a lot of good stuff to go over tonight. So looking forward to it. Again, don't forget when you get on, drop me a hello. Let me know where you're from. I always like to see where we're reaching out. Okay, how far we're reaching out. Let's see who all's on this evening. Let's just check in real quick. Jimmy Pratt, what's going on? He says Jimmy loves his stowaway mount and his upgrades. And now I'm frozen. Am I frozen to you guys? Okay. My screen's frozen. Oh, there it goes. All right. Hello, Matt. Love my stowaway and upgrades. I'm glad, Jimmy. Josh Sanders. Hello, everyone. Golly, come on. Nathan Wood. What's going on, Nathan? From Wabash, Indiana. Crappie Kev. Hello, hello. Tony Watson. Hello. Tom A. from Pennsylvania. Hello, hello. Mike Morrison. Hello. John Wiseman. Hello, Matt. Good to see you are back. I am back for sure, without a doubt. So I'm sorry I missed the last couple weeks, but we're back in action. Ooh, where'd everybody go? All right, Todd Pell. Hello, hello. Heidi Clark. Hi, Matt. How are you? Laura and the boys from Idaho. Laura and the boys are good. I'm good. We're all good. Just glad to be back on the lives, and all is well. All's going good. So thank you, Heidi. I appreciate the comment, the question there for Laura and the boys always. Ashley, good evening, Matt from the Wired and the Wired fam from Norris Lake. What's going on, Ashley? So, guys, Ashley flat wore him out here on Norris. I guess it was last week, right, Ashley? Flat wore him out on Norris. And if you guys know anything about Norris, it is the Dead Sea. So, Ashley was able to find some fish and some good fish. So, that's good. Scott, what's going on? From Westchester, Ohio. What's going on, Scott? Joel Nash, hello, hello. Charles Davison, hello. David from Alabama, hello, hello. Joel Nash, post-spawn tournaments, let's go. I hear you. I hear you. I think it'd be so hard to have a tournament right now, especially in East Tennessee. I mean, you get back to the ramp be full. Golly, it'd be a nightmare. It'd be a nightmare. Every ramp in East Tennessee. So I fished this past weekend, and this is no joke. I told myself I wanted to get off the lake at noon. It was actually after 1 o'clock by the time I got off the lake. And that was not because I stayed out there and fished longer. It's because I got back to the ramp at noon and literally had to sit there for an hour to pull the boat out. It was absolutely insane. Had probably 3 boats that literally were tied up to the dock, couldn't get on the dock, and they sat there and put all their stuff away and got all their coolers from their trucks and brought everything down. Literally sat there for an hour, and I just kind of sat there and watched. And I thought about videoing it, and then I was like, nah, we won't do that. We'll let them ride today. But literally, one guy had his boat on the trailer and commenced to putting all his stuff away in the boat, and he was back down the ramp, literally cleaned his boat with it on the trailer in the water at the ramp. It was pretty funny. I was just like, whatever. So I just sat there and enjoyed the day, got a tan. But yeah, I couldn't imagine tournaments in that. It'd be crazy. Ronnie Harris, good evening. Good evening, sir, from Carrollton, Georgia. Lonnie Hall, hello, hello. Lucas Edwards, hello from the California Central Valley. What's going on, Lucas, from California? A little ways away from us, aren't you, buddy? I'm glad you're with us. Larry's headed to Percy Priest tomorrow. Well, good luck, Larry. Let us know how you do. Greg Rutledge, hello, hello. Sean White from Texas. Quick question. When do you use a bladed jig head? Very good question. I'll actually use bladed jig heads pretty much any time of year. Typically speaking, summer, I use a bladed jig head probably more than any time of year. I like that flash. I like something, those fish, I'm talking early summer, like right now, post spawn, early summer, right after those fish have enough time to kind of recuperate from the spawn. They start feeding very heavy, and a bladed jig head will absolutely catch a ton of fish because they're looking to feed. They see that flash and they can't resist. It's a reaction strike. They can't resist it. And when the water temps begin to warm up, and they're between that 70 and 80 degree range, you can really catch a lot of fish on a bladed jig. It's just pure reaction strike at that point because fish they're active. They're feeding actively, more active than, say, in the winter. And you can catch a lot of fish on a bladed jig. Very good question. Charles from Jeffersonville, Indiana. What's up? Robert, doing well. Robert's from Wisconsin. Lonnie, yeah. So the Bloodline plastics from Crappie Cove, their Crappie Cove, I know them as the Crappie Cove bait because they are a Crappie Cove special bait. So I know them as a Crappie Cove bait, and they are really, really cool. So if you guys hadn't seen the what Lonnie's calling the Bloodline plastics, they're actually a Crappie Cove bait. So if you go to crappiecove.com, you can take a look at those. They are a Crappie Cove bait. So that's what Lonnie is talking about there. But yeah, they catch fish. I've used them a lot. Speaking of Crappie Cove, since we're already on that subject, 10% off Crappie Cove wired discount right there, guys. 10% off your fishing specialties equipment with that wired discount. And then your stowaway mounts, 10% off with wired at stowaway mounts as well. And then, as always, the Bonehead Tackle, 15% off right here. Crappie 2022. Okay, guys. So take advantage of those discounts. Save yourself some money. That's what they're there for. So Crappie Cove has a couple new bait lines that they have picked up. So they already have Jiffy Jig and Bonehead and Crappie Magnet and several others, but a couple new to the store product lines that they have picked up. One is Crappie Monster. Guys, for those of you that like the Crappie Monster jigs, they have Crappie Monster at Crappie Cove now. It's kind of a neat looking jig. It's kind of got this flame looking tail on it. And for those of you that use Crappie Monster can probably describe these a little bit better than I can, but it's got kind of that little flame looking tail on it. That's a purple and chartreuse. Everybody knows I like purple and chartreuse. And one cool thing about these baits is you can actually take the two legs or the two sides of this little fire tail right here, and you can actually pop those apart. It creates kind of a dual leg bait where that will kind of flap around, if you will. So it's kind of neat looking little bait. I personally have not used the Crappie Monster jigs, but I do have a pack of them here, so I'll probably give them a try and see if they catch fish. I'm assuming they do. Like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about them. These actually glow. This is called Joker Glow. Okay, that's called Joker Glow. So it's actually a glow bait. So I'm assuming that tail right there glows, which is pretty neat. So we'll give it a try, see what happens. Probably do a little video on that. They have all kinds of different colors at Crappie Cove. They got, I'm not going to say the full lineup, but they got a pretty good size lineup of the Crappie Monster jigs. So you guys can check those out at crappiecove.com. And then they also have, the Slab Happy Lures hair jigs. Okay. So saw these in the store. I was actually in there today. I was actually in there this afternoon. So saw these in there, picked up a pack of them to show you guys. Slab Happy Lures. It's the Renegade hair jig. And that is so if you take a look at those heads are really neat. Should probably get it out, but I'm not going to because I don't want to lose it. So those heads are really neat. It's like a gray and a blue, and it's got this great eye on it. I really like the eyes on them. And the hair jig has a little bit of tinsel in it. I don't know if you guys can see. So there's a little bit of tinsel in that gray tail. So as you guys know, we fish a lot of clear water lakes, and something of that nature, gray tail, kind of a white, blue, and gray head, and those eyes are really nice. So we're gonna give it a try. Oh, this color is called gray. RHJ 513 gray. Renegade hair jig is that color. So that's a pretty nice jig. I like them a lot. I'm gonna give them a try. We'll see what happens. But anyway, Slab Happy Lures hair jigs and Crappie Monster. You can find those now at Crappie Cove. Okay, crappiecove.com. Along with the rest of the products that they have. They have, like I said, Bonehead, Jiffy Jigs, Crappie Magnets. I know they've got the Crappie Cove jig. They've got ACC jigs. They've got a lot of different stuff. So check them out. You can check it all out online, like I said. And take advantage of that discount code, okay? Let's see here. Where were we? Crappie Kev, that's why I don't fish on the weekends. Yeah. Well, I work during the week, so I do fish on the weekends most of the time. But, you know, we just all have to understand that it's not just our lake, right? That's the big thing. It's not just our lake. And, you know, where we fish every week or I fish every week, you know, I'm on the lake multiple times a week mostly. And you know, where we understand kind of the protocol for ramp etiquette and that sort of thing, a lot of guys don't. Okay. So keep that in mind. And it may be a guy's first time at the ramp. You don't know. I mean, that may be his first boat. That may be his first time there. Let's remember that a first impression sometimes sets the tone for the future, right? Just like when some of our guys show up at a tournament, you know, that first impression that they get from that tournament is going to kind of set the tone for the future of, are they going to come back or not? So, you know, for myself and others, we need to remember that we have that opportunity to set the tone. And as you guys are going to see in my video coming up, whether this week or next week, I was fishing in a creek, kind of in the middle of the creek channel, and literally had a guy that was nose up plowing in a, I think it was a Triton, if I remember correctly. I mean, nose straight up in the air plowing. Didn't even see my boat sitting there, and came probably from me to my garage door behind me, right in front of the boat, just plowing, throwing a wake. And I could have blessed him. I could have screamed at him. I could have done a lot of different things. But I sat there for a minute and I thought, I'm just going to ignore it. And then I thought, no, I'm not. We're going to use this as a teaching. Cranked the boat. Off I went. Caught up to him. He was getting ready to take out at the ramp. Caught up to him. Said, hey, I said, listen, you got a little close back there. He said, well, did you think so? I said, yeah, I kind of thought so. I could have probably spit on you. And he said, well, he said, I had the nose of the boat in the air and I didn't see you. I said, yeah, that's dangerous. That's exactly right. You didn't see me. So maybe don't ride around on the lake with the nose of the boat up in the air. You know, safety first, man. Come on. I said, nobody wants to come out here and get hurt. We all want to go home. So, I was very calm and just said, hey, look, safety first. Be cognizant of what you're doing on the lake. And he said, yeah, absolutely. He said, and he looked at my boat and he said, he said, uh, he said, I got a 680 up in Wisconsin, I think he said. And I did kind of get a little bit mouthy with him at that point. And I said, well, I hope you drive it better than you drive that one. And he said, yeah, I actually do. He said, this one I don't drive very often. And I said, well, I said, look, I said, just be careful out there. I said, I got kids at home. I want to go home with my kids. And he said, yeah, I hear you. I'll be more careful. And I said, okay, have a good day. That's the end of it. So, keep in mind that, again, there's a lot of guys on the lake this time of year that aren't typically on the lake. And if we can help them and coach them and teach them the proper ways, it's going to make everybody's life a little bit easier. So I'm getting off that soapbox, but you guys will see that on the video. It's pretty funny. And keep in mind that we have that opportunity to set the tone, right? So anyway, I'm moving on. All right. Chad, Reelfoot Lake in West Tennessee, crappie fishing been great. Hello from Dyersburg, Tennessee. What's going on from Dyersburg? And I have made many a trip out to Reelfoot, and gosh, I love Reelfoot. I really do. I really thoroughly enjoy fishing Reelfoot Lake, and I think it's the simplicity of Reelfoot Lake that I love. I mean, obviously, you can take LiveScope down there and you can fish out in what you guys call deep water. I call here shallow water, but out there you guys call 12-foot deep water, right? So, you can fish out there in those areas on Reelfoot and catch a lot of fish, especially on timber out in open water. But like out in front of bows, it's just timber everywhere. Just a lot of area that has timber on that lake. Submerged timber too, a lot of submerged timber, unless it's October, November, and then it's all, visible, right? So, love that lake, but the simplicity of it is what I really like. Taking a black and red hair jig and a grizzly hair jig, tipping it with a wax worm and dipping lily pads for the big giant bluegill, those big crappie that are in pads. Something about it. I just love it. So anyway, I hadn't done it in a long time. Need to get back out there and do it some more. But it's something I used to do with my uncle. He's now passed, and it's just something I hadn't done in a while. So need to get back out there. Are you guys catching them in pads, Chad? Or are you catching them out off timber? Matt Wiley, what's going on? Fred. Hi, Matt from Central Indiana. Love your insight. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I enjoy giving it to you guys. Scott Bunch, what's going on, Scott? Some of the best hair jigs around, no doubt. Yeah, Scott, I'll be honest with you. I like them. I like them a lot. So again, guys, Scott's talking about that Slab Happy Lures, that Renegade hair jig, and that is the gray. I got to get one of these out. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to. Oh, they got a little Ziploc bag. Okay, so there we go. I was afraid if I opened them up, I'd lose them all, but they got a little Ziploc. All right, so look at this head, guys. I mean, this is what pretty much sold me on this jig head right then and there. It's got a little blue. It's got some gray. Got some gray on the back there. Got some white. Got that yellow eye. Some blue in between the white and gray back here. I mean, it's like a 3 different color head on that Joker. 4 different color, I guess, because you got the eye. So, um, just a really, really cool jig. You can see some of that tinsel in there. I like them. I like them a lot. I'm definitely going to use them. So, um, we'll see what that is a Teleco color right there. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to be on Teleco this weekend. So that's going to be on a rod this weekend and try them out. All right. And again, guys, if you didn't hear me before, you can get those at Crappie Cove. If you guys are interested in picking some up, giving them a shot. Slab Buster, what's up? All right, Robert. Here's a question. I have a War Eagle boat with a Power Drive V2 Minn Kota with spot lock. My cords get tangled a lot. Would you think a pole mount for my new Garmin LVS 34? Absolutely. I would absolutely go, especially if you have a power drive, because a power drive doesn't have a limit stop on it. Okay, Robert. So if you turn that power drive and forget that you turned it around and you turn it around again, it'll turn all the way around 360 again and again and again and again. And you will eventually, if you're not paying attention, Robert, you will eventually get a transducer cable. Okay. There are some cable management systems that you can put on a Power Drive V2. Okay. There's a couple of people out there that are making a cable management system for that Power Drive, but they're expensive. I mean, you're talking twice the cost of a Fish and Specialties pole for a cable management system for a power drive that doesn't have a limit stop and can eventually tear your cord. So if you tear that, it's $1,000 or $500 to replace that. Well, for the new LVS 34, it's probably more than that. So be cognizant of that. I would go pole. And I'll tell you something else. I mean, it's hard to use. You can't use Spot Lock and Garmin LiveScope at the same time. You can't. It's impossible. So if you're a Spot Lock user, need to put it on a pole. I suggest Fish and Specialties pole. There's a lot of good poles out there, but I run Fish and Specialties, which you guys saw in the video this week. I love my Fish and Specialties pole, but I challenge you to do your homework. Figure out what pole will work best for you. My go-to, again, is the Fish and Specialties pole for many different reasons, but a lot of them that I explained on the video this past week. So that dropped on Monday. So, the ability to run the cable through the pole kind of protects that transducer cable. It's very lightweight. It stows and deploys that quick. It's just a very well-rounded pole, and it's cheap. In comparison to other LiveScope poles on the market, it's cheap. So check them out. Fish and Specialties pole, fishandspecialties.com, which is right there coming across the screen. And a wire discount will save you 10%. So give them a look. That would be my suggestion to you. Chad, timber. So y'all are catching them on timber. Okay. I'd say it's probably a little late for the pads. Well, I don't know. Everything was a little bit behind this year. I'd still say it's probably a little late for the pads. Probably 1st of May pretty much ended the pad fishing, I would assume. But I don't know. You tell me. You've been out there. Alicia, hello from Central Kentucky. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. Johnny, hello, Matt. Good to see you back. Good to be back. Good to be back. I appreciate it. Had a couple weeks off there, and now we're back in the saddle. So, Sean White, one more question about a bladed jig head. Can you use it for vertical jigging or just casting? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you can use it for vertical jigging. I mean, anytime you move that jig head, that blade's going to move. It's going to create flash. Even if you hold that jig head still or try to hold that jig head still, let's be honest about it. You can't really hold a jig still. Anybody that's had LiveScope long enough knows your boat moves, it moves. And unless it's just a dead calm day or you're anchored, your boat's going to move around. And that bladed jig head's going to move. So anytime that blade's move or that jig's moving, that blade's moving and it's creating flash. So absolutely, you can use it to vertical jig. You can use it to cast. You can use them to troll. You can use them to push. You can use them for anything. I use a lot of bladed jig heads when I troll. I would put a standard jig head, just a standard round head or a minnow head or whatever it was that I put on or had in my hand on the front jig, and then on the back jig, I would always use a Roadrunner or a pony head, which is what Curtis Hobbs calls them at Lightwire Hooks. They're called pony heads with a blade. And I prefer a willow blade because I like that long, slender blade over the Colorado rounded blade. I don't know why. It's just me. That's just my eye. I just like the willow blade better. I like a gold willow blade for dirty water, and I like a silver willow blade for clear water. Okay. Chad, I chased them from deep to the trees, 18 to 1 foot. Yeah, they get in 1 foot on Reelfoot. That's no joke. It's a fishing mecca out there. It really is. And I don't know that Reelfoot is really any better than any other lake. I think Reelfoot is just unique in the fact that the pads, the timber, the history of the lake. For those that don't know, there was an earthquake back in the 60s, I believe it was, right, Chad? Something like that, back in the 60s, that caused the Mississippi to flow backwards, which flooded Reelfoot Lake. And Reelfoot Lake has been there ever since. So it's a lot of low-lying areas. And for those of you that fish Tennessee all the time, and you live in Tennessee, and you see these hills, and you see these mountains, you see this beautiful scenery we have around our lakes, you go out to Reelfoot, you still get beautiful scenery, but there's no hills, there's no valleys, it's just flat. And it's still in Tennessee, but there's no hills. And when the wind blows out there, you better get off the lake. Am I lying, Chad? If they call for a 10-mile-an-hour wind on Reelfoot, you better be back with the dock before the wind picks up, because it gets bad. There's no doubt about that, because it's just so flat, and it's just basin, and there's all kinds of and they actually call each pocket of Reelfoot, each little individual pocket of water, a basin. So you got Blue Basin and so on and so forth. So it's really cool out there. The scenery is second to none. The fishing is flat out awesome. And, I don't like catfish to eat, okay? But I'll eat catfish out of that lake. It's just something about that lake. It's not a man-made lake. It's pure. And the fish out of that lake just taste great. All of them. Doesn't matter what it is. Bluegill, catfish, crappie. I'll eat them all. It don't matter. So really, really, really cool place for sure. Scott, good question. No, we have not had that. Hadn't had any trip yet. Robert, you're welcome, sir. 922, what's going on? Yep, there it is. Spawn been over for about 2 weeks, so about the 1st of May. That's about the extent of it out at Reelfoot, as far especially pad fishing. But um, I figured that's probably the way it was with the late. Well, everything else was late, so. James, I froze again. Hey, there it is. Hello, Matt from Crosby, Texas. What's going on, James from Crosby? Yep, Chad, really late spawn. I think everybody had a late spawn, for the most part. Sean, I do mostly vertical jigging, so now it looks like I will be buying some bonehead bladed jigs. Yeah, give them a try. They definitely add flash, add a profile to the jig, and you can catch a ton of fish on them, for sure. Alicia says, I've wanted to fish there for years. Do you recommend renting a boat or using your own boat there? Very good question. So, if you have never been to Reelfoot, okay, don't take your boat down there the first time you go. I think Chad would probably chime in on this one and agree. If you've never been to Reelfoot, don't take your boat first time. And let me tell you why. Or if you do, okay, if you say, "Oh, I'm taking my boat," that's fine. Just plan to be at idle the entire time you're there. Don't get out on Reelfoot Lake and think, "Oh, well, I can see from here to the other side of the lake. There's water there. I'm just going to put it on plane and go across the lake." No, no, because you will be out in the middle of that basin and have several hundred yards from this bank, that bank, this bank, this bank. You can be 700 yards from anything out in the middle of the lake and hit stumps every time, all the time. Okay. Most all of your running on Reelfoot will be at idle, or mine was. Again, because you get out in the middle of the lake and you're whacking stumps like crazy. The one place that it is safe to put it on plane and run are the canals between basins. The canals between basins are typically safe because those were dug. They brought in excavators, floating excavators. Well, they put them on barges, is what they did, but they brought in excavators and dug those canals. So most of them, it's safe to run in from the beginning of the canal to the end of the canal. But again, safety first. Do that with caution. They're not very deep, but they are clear of stumps and debris. But yeah, if you're going to go down there, be cautious and always have your hand on the throttle or on the gear shift, because at any given time, front of that boat will hit a stump and the boat will go like this. And when it does, you need to be in neutral because it's coming towards the motor. So, you're stump jumping a lot on Reelfoot, no doubt. Thank you, James. Yeah, smash that thumbs up, guys, please. If you would, smash that thumbs up for me. If you like the content, let everybody know you like it. Smash that thumbs up. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the video this week. Of course, we did a video for those LiveScope guys, talking about 0-degree mounts and the angled mount. Obviously, the guys that are putting them on poles, the 0-degree mount is the way to go. Okay. Again, to reiterate kind of what the video already said, the angled bracket that comes with your LiveScope is for your trolling motor. Okay. And if you put it on a pole, unfortunately, especially where we fish, I mean, if you're fishing, shallow water all the time, and most of your crappie fishing happens in 6 to 8 foot, it's not really going to affect you a whole lot. But when you're fishing stuff like we do, where I caught crappie last weekend at a 36 foot of water, sitting in 36 foot of water. I mean, the crappie was sitting in 36. I was in 45. They're sitting at 36, and I'm catching them with LiveScope. So, with an angled transducer, if you see that jig hit the water, by the time it gets 36 foot deep, you've had to move the pole 3 inches because, I'm talking you've had to move the handle 3 inches to keep the jig in the cone of that transducer. Whereas if you have a 0 degree transducer, if you see it hit the water, you can watch that jig go down, as long as your boat's not blowing around in a 15-mile-an-hour wind, right? So, with that being said, the 0 degree transducer for any kind of depth of water is the way to go. I personally prefer, like I said in the video, the transom mount bracket for my 0 degree mount, because it sets everything at 0 degrees. It's metal. It's very well built. Garmin did a good job doing that. And, it mounts to the bottom of that Fishing Specialties pole perfect. That's what it was designed for. The pole was designed to use that mount. So, that being said, that's the way I did it. Now, I will tell you this, the LVS 34 transducer is huge compared to the LVS 32. So, the LVS 34, hang on, I got to get my pole. All right. So the LVS 34 is a lot bigger. I don't have enough cable. Is a lot bigger than the LVS 32. Okay. The transducer bracket is huge. I mean, it is very large, but the Fishing Specialties pole handles it very well. And I like it. I like it a lot. I used it this weekend and it works great. It works as it should, I did get a lot of questions about the orientation of the transducer. So forward view on the 32, the top of the transducer was flat. That was forward view, okay? With the LVS 34, the top of the transducer is not flat. It's actually got the cord coming out back here. You got one click up, okay? So the cord end actually goes down one click. The front of the transducer opposite of the cord end goes up one click. That is forward view on the new LVS 34, okay? That was one question that was on the video, was why do you like one click up? Well, I don't necessarily like one click up, but that's what it is to have forward view on the new LVS 34. So the LVS 34 is not level, okay, for forward view. Level is down view. One click up is forward view, okay? Mike, Santee Cooper is a lot like Reelfoot. You better know where you're going. Absolutely. I've heard a lot about Santee. Hadn't had the chance to fish there. I'm sure I will one day. But I've seen a lot of videos from Santee and heard a lot about Santee. And it's a lot, and it very, very similar to the Reelfoot. A lot of pads, a lot of cypress trees, a lot of backwaters, kind of what I call them, that swamp kind of backwater area. And, really cool fishing. I mean, that's, kind of back to what I would call the root fishing, roots of fishing is, those really all you need at Reelfoot is a cane pole and some wax worms, and you can go catch, all kinds of fish in lily pads all day long, just jigging the holes in the lily pads, just putting it out there and, so a lot of fun fishing. And I am jealous of the guys that get to do it all the time, because, we're fishing open water out in 20, 25, 30, 35 feet of water most all the time to be consistently catching fish. And you guys are up there in 3 to 5 and just jigging the pads and, cypress knees. And it's just, it's a lot of fun. And you never know where you're going to catch them, right? And all that stuff. And all that mess of fish and all that mess of cover, you don't ever know really where you're going to catch them. So it's just so much fun. I really enjoy it. But anyway. And again, post spawn fishing. So let's talk a little bit about post spawn fishing. So why do I like post spawn fishing so much? Well, one, there's not as many anglers on the lake that are trying to catch crappie. Okay. Two, fish post spawn get extremely easy to pattern. Okay. They school up. They get extremely easy to pattern. And when you find fish, you find fish. I mean, you find groups of fish, wads of fish. You don't just see those singles, one here, one there. This brush pile had one fish on it. That little stake over there had one fish on it. That bucket had two fish on it. Generally speaking, post spawn, especially summer, when you find a brush pile or a stake bed or, a lay down or whatever it may be that's in that right depth that fish are holding on, you find fish. I mean, you can sit there and you can catch one after the other, the other, and the water's warm. That fish's metabolism is sped up because that warm water. They're feeding more actively, like I said earlier. They're feeding up after spawn. Now that they've kind of regenerated from the spawn, they're really feeding up, trying to put on some weight. And from May through July in East Tennessee is magic. I mean, no doubt, it's magic. So, you're going to see me pulling some crankbaits. You're going to see me, I'll probably fish some open water stuff. We'll probably do some open water with LiveScope, and we'll probably look for those groups of fish to cast to. But for the most part, probably going to stick to crankbaits because I love pulling them crankbaits. And then probably going to look at brush piles. Probably going to hit a lot of docks, okay? Because as the water temps warm, as the temperatures warm, those fish are going to be looking for those shaded areas. They're going to be looking for those little bit cooler areas. I'm not going to tell everybody all my secrets, but don't ignore spring-fed areas, okay? Typically, spring waters come out the same temperature all year long. You know what I'm saying? So as that water temperature begins to heat up, some of those springs, those natural springs that come out in those creeks, may offer an opportunity for a little cooler water. And structure around those is a plus. But we're going to do a lot of different things as, our post-spawn kind of summer fishing gets kicked off. And I am extremely excited about it because, it's, like I said, it's my favorite time of year to fish. When I can go to the lake in a pair of shorts and a short sleeve shirt and some Crocs, and I can go fish, have a great day, fish till I sweat to death, and go home. And it's just so much more enjoyable than bundling up with 15 layers of clothes on, going out there and trying to cast a rod and reel and feel a fish bite through 4 layers, right? So it's just a lot of fun for me. And look, I don't object to jumping in the lake every once in a while if it gets too hot. So there's the bonus there where you get too hot, you just in the lake you go. So anyway, love it. Absolutely favorite time to crappie fish. I know Scott Bunch loves it. Scott Bunch will be posting, photos on his Facebook page, trying to get a tan on his belly, during the summer. He generally puts out about 3 photos a year where he's trying to get that tan worked on. So, I'll be looking for those to come out. Scott's still on here. He'll probably give me a laughy face here in a minute, but he knows what I'm talking about. So anyway, absolutely great to opportunity to get out and catch a lot of fish. And you get a lot of guys. Here's another tip, okay? So if you like to eat crappie, I don't personally take a lot of fish home anymore. I do from time to time take fish home. Yes, I love to eat crappie. It's one of my favorite meals in the world. And I cook it a lot of different ways. I like it grilled. I like it fried. I like it baked. I mean, I like it just about any way. I mean, I can go Forrest Gump Bubba on you, and I can tell you about 15,000 different ways to cook crappie. So, um, you know, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight. But the thing about it is a lot of guys say they don't like to crappie fish in the summer because the fish is mushy, right? They say, oh, you know, it's so hot, and they get hot in the live well. You get them home, it's hot, and you clean them, and they get like this mushy consistency to them almost. And I just don't like fish in the summer. And it's like, hold on a minute. There's a way to alleviate this, okay? So if you are going to fish in the summer and you want to keep crappie, don't put them in your live well, okay? Get you a cooler, put 2 bags of ice in that cooler, throw them on ice, straight on ice. Don't even use your live well. I don't use my live well in the summer. If I keep fish, they go straight on ice bath, okay? Now, let's say I don't have a cooler. Let's say whatever the reason is, I forgot one at home or whatever. Guys, get 2 bags of ice and throw it in your live well and then throw them on ice, okay? Once it melts, drain your live well, wash it out, and you're good to go. So, you know, you can do it a couple different ways. Obviously, ice isn't going to last as long in your live well, but, you know, depending on how long you're going to fish, it's may or may not melt. So, but a cooler on ice is the way to go with those fish. And I typically leave them on ice until the following day. I will actually keep my crappie on ice. Let's say I fish Saturday morning. I'll come home. I'll leave them on ice. I'll set the ice in the garage or set the cooler in the garage. I'll leave them on ice through Saturday. I'll clean them on Sunday, and they're just as firm as could be. Okay. You put them on ice, that fillet firms up, and it's just like clean them in the winter or in the spring. So, a little tip for you guys: you can throw them on straight on ice. Sean, Lake Fork. If you're not in the river channel, you better idle. Used to have a T-shirt that said Lake Fork 8 Mile lower unit. Yeah, that's about the truth with Reelfoot too. I mean, it will eat your lower unit if you are not careful. But Lake Fork has boat lane. You can buy like a card that has boat lanes on it. So buy a boat lane card for Fork that'll show you the actual boat lanes that are cleared out, right, for boats to run in. That's safe to run. You don't get that on Reelfoot for sure. Reelfoot, there's no lane outside of those little canals that they've dug to get from one basin to another. There's nothing. So the cool thing about Reelfoot too is I think it's something crazy. It's like only 20% of the water on Reelfoot is fishable. The other 80% is so thick in the swamp that you can't get into it. It's actually a really cool metric. I'd have to Google it to remember the exact numbers, but maybe it's 70-30, maybe 30% you can fish, 70% you can't, but it's something ridiculous. I mean, I know that there is 3 times, at least 2 times, if not 3 times the amount of water that's unfishable than is fishable on Reelfoot, which is pretty neat. That's a pretty cool metric too. Like I said, it's just a lot of good, cool history out at Reelfoot for sure. Here's a good question. What are some of your favorite crankbaits for crappie? All right, well, you had to ask. Where are my crankbaits? Hold on just one second. I'll grab my crankbaits. Hold on. All right. I grabbed some of them. I didn't grab all of them because we don't have time to go through all of them. But some of my crankbaits, right? I like the Arky 220s. So that's an Arky 220. Okay. That's the smaller Arky. That's probably my go-to, honestly, is the Arky 220. Absolutely love those. Most of them come with a red with red hooks. Okay. Those red hooks are actually very sharp coming out of the package, and that's kind of why I like them. That's kind of why they're my go-to, because they've got great hooks on them, whereas some of the other brands don't have a very sharp hook, and that irks me because they're like twice the money as an Arky, but Arky's got a better hook, so kind of bothers me a little bit. But anyway, the Arky 220 is probably my go-to. I do run some of the Jinkos. Okay, I run some of the Jinkos. I run some of the Crappie Max cranks. Okay, got a few of them, several of them. Obviously, I run Bandits. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't run a Bandit. I mean, Bandits. Here's a Bandit 300. I can't get that one out. This is a Bandit 300. There's your Bandit 300. That's that silver shad, blueback. I guess it's blueback herring or whatever they call it. I don't remember, but anyway, that's a go-to on Teleco. Silver with a blue back is kind of a Teleco go-to, just FYI. For those in East Tennessee, obviously, this is another Teleco crankbait right there. That's your flicker shad. That's your pink fire tiger flicker shad, if I remember correctly. Yep. Pink fire tiger. That is a 5M, okay? It's a size 5M in your flicker shads. I like the 5M in flicker shad. That's my go-to size, okay? On my flicker shads is a 5. The Bandit, like I said, Bandit 300s, Bandit 200s. I'll run both. Here is actually, I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. And I probably shouldn't even show you guys this, but I'm going to anyway. Can anybody tell me what this crankbait is called? If anybody can tell me what this crankbait is called, you'll win a prize tonight. Anybody tell me? I'm not going to show you the bill. Yeah, sure. Why don't we? I'll show you the bill. There's initials on the front, so I can't show those to you. Can anybody tell me that crankbait is? Name. What brand name is it? This crankbait will dive deeper any other crankbait that I have found on the market. If you're longlining, crankbaits, this crankbait right here will dive deeper than any other crankbait. I assure you, with that bill right there. Okay. Anybody can tell me what that is, and I'll come back to that. That's pretty much it. Now, obviously, shad wraps. I run shad wraps. There's a lot of different shad wraps that I run. The silver, the gold, depending on water clarity. I really like that purple. It's like a rainbow trout shad wrap. Again on Teleco. Dynamite. But shad wraps are great to run. I mean, the way that I run crankbaits, I run them with a 2-ounce inline weight, so I can set my depth of my crankbait with that weight instead of with the actual crankbait itself and the length of line. I basically, 2/3 of my line length is my depth. I can set that crankbait wherever I want it, okay? Let's see if you guys know your crankbaits. We're going to find out. All right. So, again, anybody can tell me what that crank... I'll tell you what. If anybody can tell me what this crankbait is, right here. Get a little closer. Anybody can tell me what that crankbait is, I will let you pick anything on my wall. Before the show's over, I will show you my wall, and I will let you guys pick. I'll show you my wall now. I will let you guys pick any product on that wall. Okay, including the Wired for Crappie merchandise. All right. And by the way, if you're wired for crappie, okay, and you would like a t-shirt or a hat or a beanie or anything of that nature, wiredforcrappie.com. You can look at the merchandise. You can order it right there on wiredforcrappie.com. So if you guys are interested in any shirts or hats or any merch, wiredforcrappie.com is where you can find that at. Okay. And if anybody can tell me, I'll show you another one. This is another color. Same crankbait, different color. That might help some guys out. Can't show you too much because there's initials on the top of it. I don't want anybody Googling it. As usual. All right. Let's see. Andy said, be sure to put sunscreen on. I came home the color of your boat. Yeah, I generally burn once. So I generally go out on the lake once. I burn and then I'm done for the year. So, and I've already done that. So, Robert, Canyon Lake, Texas. So many stumps along the sides, but it's the deepest lake in Texas and crystal clear, 146 foot deep by the dam. That's deep, no doubt. Alicia said her largest crappie so far was caught on a crankbait. That's pretty cool. Very good question. Do you use planer boards with the crankbaits? Yes, I will. The thing is I will have to, if I use a planer board with the crankbait, I can't use the 2 ounce inline weight. I have to go to like an ounce or ounce and a half. The 2 is just too much for my planer boards. So if I use a planer board, I have to downsize my weight a little bit. But yes, I will use them. Bid Kid. He said, I've caught some off the Flickr shad. I like those. Yeah, I love the Flickr shads. I've got a lot of different colors. I've got the pink fire tiger. This is a good one too. This is the what is this? I can't remember. CPR. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, that's a good color. Again, that's the 5. It's a size 5. That's the 5M CPR. And then this is the regular fire tiger. Obviously, everybody's seen the regular fire tiger, right? I've caught a lot of fish off that as well, and that's the 5. And then I've got a solid white. I've got a silver with a black back, silver with a blue back. Kind of the same as I have with the other crankbaits. Ghost shad. Nope, not a ghost shad. Square bill deep dive ghost shad. Nope. Nope, not a ghost shad. Fat free fry bill dance. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Eden. Nope. Lure Jensen. Nope. Scott, I have tried the 2 ounce weight when trolling. Where do you measure length of line from tip of pole or line in the water? Line in the water. Yeah. Line in the water. Bandit. Nope, not a bandit. Jinko. Nope, not a Jinko. Rapala square bill. Nope. Not a Rapala square bill, Alicia. Bandit. Nope, I said that one. Bill Lewis MR6. Nope. Nope. I'm going to tell you guys what it is so you can fact check me at the end of the night. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think anybody's going to get it. You guys might. Somebody might come along and say, I know what that is, but I doubt it. It's not a very well-known crankbait. I'll tell you that. Not a big name. Not a Kevin Van Dam, that's for sure. And not a Rebel. Nope. Nope. Alicia said, don't tell us yet. All right, I won't tell you yet. All right, so before we say goodbye and before I show you guys or tell you guys what crankbait it is and all that, Vexen, nope, not a Vexen. Does anybody have any other questions? Anybody have anything else that they want to go over tonight? Whether it be electronics or whether it be crappie, jigs, poles. What else do you guys have for the night? Line? Anybody got any line questions? Anything. Anything's a good question. There's no dumb question. The only dumb question is the one that's not asked. So if you're too busy Googling to try to figure out what crankbait that is, that's fine. But I will give everybody a minute to ask any more questions. Pico, nope, not a Pico. Joe's, nope. Yep. Do. All right. Let's see. Robert, yes. Do you use braid with crankbaits? Yeah, sure. I'll use braid with crankbait. I probably am going to start using more braid with crankbaits because I've always used mono, but I've always broke crankbaits off when I got hung. What I think I can do with braid is actually pull a lot of crankbaits out of brush when I get hung. So I'm probably going to start using braid. But yes, I don't have a problem using braid with crankbait at all. Larry, oh no, just totaled my boat at Truman Lake a couple weeks ago in 38 feet of water. Was getting up on plane, and as the nose was coming down, hit a tree and put a hole in the hull. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is horrible. It could happen to anybody. I'm glad you're okay, first and foremost. But I hate to hear about your boat. So hopefully you had insurance, and hopefully, Larry, that'll get fixed, and you can get back out on the lake soon. So I hate to hear that, buddy. Norman, nope, not a Norman. Have you used the reaction tackle braided line? Thoughts if so? I have not used the reaction tackle braided line, so I'm not going to speak to it. It's hard to mess up braid. Okay. Well, let me take that back. Let's not go into that right now. I'm just going to leave that one alone. Bad Matt. All right. I have not used it. I'm sure it's good braid. I would probably, I'd probably get some tried out and see what you think. I prefer the bonehead tackle braid. That's what I prefer. It's 12 pound. You can be in 50 foot of water on Truman and have trees sticking out of the water. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Arky. Nope. Ozark from Walmart. No. This is fun. Greg, don't forget the thumbs up. Yeah, guys, don't forget the thumbs up. Rattling Wasp. No. Jabberjaw. No. Alicia, do you tie straight to the braid or to a swivel? So when I'm tying a crankbait, I tie directly to the braid from the inline weight, but the inline weight has a swivel on it. So if you're pulling crankbaits, you need a swivel somewhere, guys, whether it be on your inline weight or on your crankbait, because a lot of times that crankbait will get a little bit out of tune. Maybe it gets a little piece of something on it, it gets a little leaf or something on it, and that will cause it to spin. And if you don't have that swivel on there, it will cause line twist, and it is a pain in the butt when you get all that line twist. Your line gets twisted. You can't ever get it out. You just got to re-spool. So, I prefer to have a swivel somewhere. Now, when I'm fishing with just a straight jig, especially on guide trips, when I do my guide trips, I'm tying braid directly to the jig. That saves me a ton of tackle. That saves me a ton of time retying, because I can just pull and bring that jig right out, straighten the hook out, bring that jig right out of the brush, and we can just bend it back and go back to fishing. So I will tie braid straight to a jig, but not to a crankbait. Okay, swivel always on crankbait. Golly, there's a bug in here. It keeps flying in front of my face. Larry, I saw you got a new boat already. Well, that's good. Lonnie Hall just bought hair jigs at Crappie Cove and used code WIRED, and they would not take it. What's up with that? Good question. They should take it. I just left there today. Code's still good. Let's try it. Let's just give her a try. All right, we'll do it right here together. www.crappiecove.com. Because if they won't take it, we're going to have a phone call tomorrow. All right, what are we buying? Shop now. What are we trying to buy? Oh, go away. Oop, I messed up. All right, let's see. What are we trying to buy? Hair jigs. Hair jig. There's the Jiffy jig. Oh, guys, by the way, while we're on here talking about it, the grasshopper stump bug. So Crappie Cove got a shipment of grasshopper stump bugs in. For those that weren't able to get the grasshopper stump bug, Crappie Cove is the only one in the country that has that color, that bonehead tackle stump bug in grasshopper, okay, pumpkin and chartreuse. Only one that has it. They got more in, and if you're looking for them, you can get them at Crappie Cove. Robert said, I just bought jigs at Crappie Cove and they took the wired. Okay, so, well, let's just put some of these in the cart. And we'll hit checkout. And oh man, it's going to make me do all my info. Come on. Well, it's going to make me do all my info. So I'm not going to do that right now because I got to talk to you guys. So Robert used wired and they took it. So Lonnie, try it one more time. Maybe there was a glitch in it. I don't know. It should be a good code. I mean, people have been using it, and there's a guy that used it today, and Robert said he just bought some. So, there you go. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to be the end of it for tonight. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be on again next Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, same time, same place. Watch out for the new video to drop on Mondays. Videos drop on Mondays. There can be a new video out this Monday. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope y'all have a blessed week. Watch out for stumps and trees sticking out of the water, right, Larry? But enjoy your time on the water. And remember, guys, you have the opportunity to help educate this time of year, right? So if you guys run into the situation where you're in that kind of, aggravated moment or aggravating moment, keep in mind, some guys, it may be their first experience and you have a chance to lead it off right. Okay. So offer your help, offer your helping hand. And like I said, you have that opportunity. Okay. Oh, what was the crankbait? Yeah. What was crankbait? Well, there's one guy that got it. Okay. I didn't say anything about it, but there was one guy that got it. Thank you. All right. That is the crankbait in question. That is a Rick Klung. Okay. RC. Rick Klung crankbait. You can't hardly find these anymore. And if you do, they like them. Okay. You got to get them. I mean, they like them. So it is a Rick Klung. And Jared Womack, shoot me an email to Matt. No, I'm sorry. What am I doing? info@wiredforcrappie.com and I'll hook you up, buddy. So shoot me an email, info@wiredforcrappie.com, Jared. Jared got it right here. It is a Rick Klung Lucky Strike. Not really a Lucky Strike. I mean, I guess Lucky Strike makes it, but it's a Rick Klung, and it is the RC. That's what the RC stands for, Rick Klung. So shoot me an email, Jared. We'll get together. I'll give you a call. Shoot me your phone number. I will give you a ring. Shoot to info@wiredforcrappie.com. And Matt Wiley, name a crankbait. So, yep, the Rick Klung. That's what that crankbait is. And it is the deepest diver that I have found, period, as far as long line and crankbaits. So if you're a long liner and you're trying to get down 25 feet, this one will do it. Okay. And it will do it quickly to where you don't have to. Now, don't put it on a flimsy rod. I'm telling you, don't put this crankbait on a flimsy rod, because if you do, it puts a lot of stress on the front of that crankbait, or on the front of that bill and that rod. It puts a lot of stress on it. So anyway, nonetheless, that's what it was. Like I said, appreciate you guys as always. God bless again, and we will see you guys next week.